So this should be our last video. Um, again, special problems. We talked about feeding of water formula in the hospital with a bottle, not feeding long enough. Remember, you need to feed longer to get that higher fat content so baby is satisfied. Improper technique, anxiety that's impeding that letdown, hyperthyroidism, those all can impact the ability of mom and baby to have a successful breastfeeding experience. Preterm babies, it's recommended that they still get the breast milk, but sometimes they don't have that developed sucking mechanism, so mom may need to pump and then it's fed to babies. And then the dietitian and the physician may work to provide some fortification for some catch-up growth if the child is very small and has significant needs. And then here, this last slide, this is just going to help you with reviewing for the quizzes and the tests and with completing that case study if you're assigned to the lactation case study. Questions to consider that you'll see over and over throughout your time here in this class. Just a few more things that I wanted to touch on. I wanted to show you the mother's right to breastfeed. This is state statute 25 or 253.16. And I do have some physical cards that I took a picture of that I encourage breastfeeding moms to carry with them in case there's some place that someone's giving them a hard time about breastfeeding. So on the back, it says if someone asks you to leave a public place when breastfeeding, politely explain that the law protects the right of the mother to stay where she is to breastfeed. So you can pull your card out and say, listen, fool, I have every right to be here per state statute 253.16. You don't actually need a card to do that, but sometimes that's helpful. I feel like we've come a long way in society as far as recognizing that breastfeeding is normal, but we still have some work to do as well. So now I'm going to pop back over to our um, weeks 4 and 5 lactation area. Here's where you'll find those 2 practice papers from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics on supporting breastfeeding. Lots of good statistics, lots of good information there. I recommend downloading those and saving them to your hard drive or in your Google Drive so that you have those as a reference. Again, here's those 2 videos that if you're not familiar at all with the process of breastfeeding, what a latch is, what the different holds to feed baby are, and then with the expression and storing of breast milk. These are great videos to use to learn more about that. And then this whole time, I have been aggressively talking about the positives of breastfeeding. And I'm sure that you can tell that I am a huge advocate for breastfeeding and a huge advocate for families making the choices that are the best for them. This is a really interesting read here. It was on Wisconsin Public Radio, or not a read, uh, a podcast. And this is also a book, Lactivism. It's available at our library at MATC if you're interested. It's a fascinating read, and it just talks about the public policy that's developed and the science that it's based on. And I'll be honest, it does show some holes in some of the things that we've been talking about. So I'm all for public discourse of ideas and changing ideas and thinking of things different ways. So, if you just want to learn more about this subject, I recommend reading that book or listening to that podcast. Again, none of these things are required, but I think it will help your reading and understanding by taking advantage of those resources. We'll talk soon.